have been at there's two tracks. There's the linear one and then there's the concurrent one, right? So, two BevOps startups later, I am continuing on the concurrent track of having my own business. During the 750 days, I really flipped a script on how I was approaching almost everything, right? But specifically my role and the mechanics of what I was doing on a daily basis for my actual role in the organization was really locked and loaded. And I bore easily. Maybe that's not the best way to say it, but I'm consistently reaching for something, right?
You're a
and
learner.
as soon as there's a baseline and I'm like, okay, cool, everything's in its place, what's next, right? Consistently raising the bar. And I had some pretty significant health issues, backtracking a few years, that I was in the process of addressing. And through that, I started to get into the polar opposite of abnormal psychology and the criminal enterprises and shifted my focus into positive psychology and mental health. And that, and understanding and learning more about people hate when I say this, what I'm saying anyway, my meat suit, right? So understanding how our everything works, how our neurobiology, our neurochemistry, and I needed to take control over something that was betraying me is effectively, where I'm coming from with that.
Suit.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And
I think it's awesome.
yeah, I hope anyone who's listening to this is cringing at that. But I had a doctor tell me that I needed to start meditating. I've tried meditating. I can't do it. I'm broken. It's broken. And it was like, no, that's not acceptable at all. And so started on this deep dive and, started practicing the techniques that can lead to a state of meditation. And I got into yoga and I got into the philosophy of yoga and ended up getting certified as a coach because I saw a vision for where the organization, I was at 750 at this time, where the organization was going and how big we had the potential to grow. And I always, you're not on a quest for, people mastery in quotes without having experience being able to leverage them to an advantage. And again, not in a nefarious way, but for the benefit of the collective was my outlook on that. And so I saw there being some potential for leadership roles. And I had led without authority for so long, right? You're managing distributor relationships, you're influencing their sales teams, you're influencing buyers, all of that. So how do we flip the script, right? So I got certified as a coach and then found myself after that certification feeling like I didn't learn enough. And so set out on my own curriculum of courses and, books about leadership, about culture, about high performance and building habits. And I mean, I was a machine for a few years. But after I had pulled myself out of this, really brutal health state, I had just this newfound, like, holy shit, has the sky always been that color blue? Like, let's go. We got this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really a wonderful time to have that of mental capacity and freedom. After so long feeling like such garbage and just dragging myself through my life. And so I was very fortunate to have had and built a lot of trust with the founders of 750. So I was able to begin coaching internally. And we had employee resource groups and company advocacy groups. And so I founded the wellness company advocacy group. So I led meditations with one of my colleagues who would DJ while I was doing the guided meditations. And I had a Slack channel where I would post articles. I would host roundtables with managers. And so that inevitably moved into me having a lot of influence within the organization. And so then I moved into a formal leadership role where I built a team and led the supplier, also the importers and producers vertical for the business. And that's where it got good because I got handed a laboratory. I mean, I adored my team. I hired most of them myself. 80% of them went through a hiring process as I built it with me. There were a couple of reps that were already on the team. And so I had this space where anything that I had learned through the coursework, the book, I got a chance to experiment with it. And it really, like, to put it, it really was like I was the executor of the lab that was all of my work as an individual contributor. But now I got the chance on one-on-ones, on group calls, to really run experiments, yield the results. So I took that leadership role not only very seriously, but from the lens of almost a psychological researcher.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds like it.
And that was a lot of fun. And I had a great team. We're all very widely dispersed in new roles since then. But it was a banger of a time. We had a lot of fun. We hit a lot of great goals. And it was absolutely one of the best times.
Produced by Fedora J Productions.